Oh, whoops.
Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Damn right.
Yeah, just kind of waiting for YouTube to catch up. It seems to be an unusually long lag today.
There we go.
There we go, yep.
It's me. I'm making it lag.
So anyway, today happens to be the anniversary. It was December 1st, 1955, when Rosa Parks refused to give her seat to a white man on the bus, which started the Macomb County bus boycotts and kicked off a whole mess of the civil rights things.
And if you ever feel like crying, Doctor Who did a Rosa Parks episode, and it's an amazing episode.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that.
It's in the newer Doctor Who. Just it's bring your Kleenex. It's a tearjerker. Absolutely.
Was it historically accurate?
Yes, and I don't want to give away the plot of the thing, but the Doctor forces everyone to be historically accurate too. Because that's the thing, when you're the Doctor, you have to make choices that not everyone's you can't change history, basically. Is the Doctor's theme over and over and over again.
Okay, well, let's see who have we got in the side chat with us here. Greg Hartwick and Commander 401 are the only ones I'm seeing so far, although, yeah, YouTube is saying we should have 7 people here. I know that counts me. I don't know about the rest of you being logged into YouTube or not. I don't think Jenni is.
Nope.
I'm not either. When I need to, though, because I go to...
yeah, so we still got a couple of lurkers there who aren't making themselves known.
When I watched YouTube, I lurked for like a year and a half. Because I was almost scared to say something. It's intimidating at first.
Oh, I never lurked. As soon as I was watching videos, I was leaving comments, which is, I think, why my channel got deleted twice before I posted anything. But yeah, as soon as I found the live chats and got in there, I got to be pretty regular in a couple of them.
I think most channels are like that. They have their group of viewers, and some of them become regulars, and most of them stay lurkers, and probably about 5-10% actually interact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really can't listen for very long without injecting my opinions and things.
There's certain people, like I watch Lisa for Truth. I take notes. When she's talking.
Okay, you must be lurking in there, because I watch hers too, and I've never seen you comment anything.
I do. I just say hello, and then I listen. And she also goes on at like 4 in the afternoon, 2 in the morning. And those are like prime hours for me.
Yeah, well, a lot of her stuff I wind up having to watch in reruns because she does it too early in the day for me to sit down and watch the whole thing.
So I kind of have this ethical dilemma that I need Doc to talk me off the proverbial cliff.
Oh dear.
So we kind of had to talk the other day, and I am one of those people who I believe I'm in human beings over everything. I am all about the survival of the human species, for better or for worse. Okay. So I don't care what you do to my food. I really don't care. But then on good old Facebook, I don't know why I got back on Facebook. I might have to take myself off. I saw people hurling turkeys into a cage and doing all these horrible things to turkeys. And it made me not want to eat turkey anymore. Because when you look at something eye to eye, it's a little bit different than when you're just eating it on the table. So is it ethical to beat up your food?
I don't think so. I think there's definitely a more humane way to deal with that. and it's also indicative of the handler's attitude toward other living things. It its feelings don't matter if they even consider it has any, and they just do whatever the hell they want, and it's kind of bad.
It made me cringe. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, wow. But like I told you, I've been to a slaughterhouse, our good old Farmer John plant here in Southern California, and I still eat meat. And
Yeah.
I've been to Islamic packing meat in Stockton, California, and I still eat meat. So I don't know. It's one of those things.
Try seeing what they do to cats in, I want to say it was Thailand, but it might have been like, I don't know, Korea or actually in China somewhere. Uh, but I saw like a HBO documentary on mistreatment of animals, and they showed what they do to prepare cats for food at a restaurant. It's pretty horrifying. It was also in that documentary I saw how the actor Gerald McRaney, one of the Simons.
Okay.
Yeah, he's such a valiant game hunter that he shoots deer in these canned hunts, like they'll herd a
Oh,
bunch of deer into a fenced in area and
yeah.
go quote unquote hunting.
Where
They
it's a
sh-
fenced-in area or where they
Yeah,
lure them in with food is, yeah.
yeah.
Bass
I
Pro
haven't
Shop.
had any respect for that guy ever since I saw that.
That's crazy. It's after the talk we had, it's one of those things where it's not that I don't care. Like I said, I'm staunchly pro-human. Whether and you know what the funny thing is, I'm always like, oh, people suck, but we need certain things to sustain our species. Unfortunately, it's eating other animals because we live on Earth.
Yeah, it can be daunting to think about all the things that must die just so one person can live their
Well,
full lifespan.
unfortunately, it is a truism that life feeds upon life.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's either animals or it's plants. Either way, they're life
Yep.
forms.
And I see no moral difference between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a big thing with that distinction. Although, I agree with what you were saying earlier about just how the animals are kept and treated.
That
Yeah, there's.
it really took me back. I was like,
You know,
this is disgusting.
it's senseless suffering, and like I said, it just bespeaks the character of the people doing it, that they're so callous.
Because I'll tell you, I like my family owns a ranch. I grew up around farm animals. I would never treat an animal like that, even one that's going off to the slaughterhouse. It really really took me back. But I'm nice. I'm nice to
Yeah,
animals.
see, going with Nerdy's idea here, this solves two problems at once. It
know,
relieves world hunger and reduces overpopulation.
true. And Nerdy, you should know that I'm a humanitarian as opposed to a vegetarian.
Well, my attitude is, I can't be a hunter. I could not shoot something that's alive. So, I can't actually kill something, but I will eat meat because I'm a scavenger. If it's already dead when I get there, I'll have it.
But
There you
because
go.
of grocery stores, aren't we all kind of scavengers? At least in
Yep.
the
Well, that's the convenient part of it for me, that most of the stuff in the grocery store is pre-killed.
when I was a kid, it wasn't rare for my parents to buy lobsters live and boil them at the house.
Yeah, I can't deal with that.
I couldn't do it now. As a kid, I didn't know. I didn't know any better. But as an adult, I couldn't do that.
I heard they scream in there when they're boiling.
And the lie is they always say that's the air escaping. No,
Yeah,
that's their death throes.
Yeah, the closest I've come to anything like that, is fishing, of actually pulling them out of the water and then wind up, gutting them and cleaning them, which is, still an activity I will avoid, not something I want to do.
See, but it's I don't consider it senseless if you eat it. Like my I have a brother who, after 20 years in Afghanistan, moved to the mountains of Montana because he didn't want to be near people. And I don't blame him.
Well, and
But
that's, my brother and some of my uncles and cousins go hunting every year, and I expect by this time there's probably a deer hanging in my mom's garage.
that's the thing. Like, so his wife is from whatever army base was in England. She's this tiny English woman, and once a year they'll kill a deer and then they eat that thing all year long. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay, Greg, what's Soylent Yellow again? Is that just the vegetable-based equivalent?
Ew. Or
is it just people's pee?
Oh,
Boiled
Jenny,
down
how
to
you doing?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm kind of meh today.
Yeah, I forgot to say hello to you, Jenny. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Not a problem. I'm just sitting here enjoying the view. And
Are you a hunter at all, Jenny?
I tried it. I figured it was one of those things I had to do to be a boy. And I got sick to my stomach the first bird I shot. And you really can't do that. I don't stand against hunting. There's a lot of damn good reason why they do it, especially fucking deer.
Deer are so dumb.
Yeah.
Well, they're also so everywhere. We are so overpopulated with deer. It's not funny. But regardless of that, I'm not going to take the sporting sense that some people get out of it. I disagree strongly with some of the things they hunt. I see no purpose. I understand they're edible and they're quite tasty, but why are you shooting poor little fucking mourning doves?
Oh yeah.
And why do you want to shoot? Why do you want to shoot and eat sandhill cranes? It's like,
Wait.
stop it.
They hunt cranes?
They do in some places, and they're trying to pass that in Wisconsin.
Where I live,
I wasn't aware anybody hunted them. Actually, my sister has 3 of them who, for the last several years, keep coming back and nesting on her property. And that's the interesting part, that it used to be 2 mating pairs, but something happened to one of them, and the 3 of them are still sticking together. So they've basically formed a triad relationship.
They actually say that the breast meat of a crane it's called, what was that? Ribeye of the sky.
Wow.
It's considered one of the most wonderful things that you can possibly eat in the wild.
That's way better than I have family members that live stream them, and I'm not going to say what they eat. They live in Georgia. They're real life hillbillies. They eat a lot of fish, but they also eat what's ever floating around in the trees or on the ground. And then they'll live stream it. And to someone from the West Coast, I think if you eat a wild rabbit, you're crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a McDonald's right up the street from my house. I have a grocery store. I'm sorry. I didn't grow up near the woods.
It is different when you live out here.
I've had Rocky Mountain oysters. I've had alligator. I've had all kinds of weird stuff. But where's that billboard? Where's that chart? I know we've all seen the billboard.
Well, Nerdy makes this comment about the dodos, but that's actually the reason why a number of species of Galapagos tortoises are extinct.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were so easy for the sailors to catch.
You see, the dodo is not extinct. They just made costumes and all joined the Republican Party.
You stole my joke. Nerdy, I would never eat a rodent. They joined the Republican Party.
Yeah, I know that in the course of growing up, I've eaten basically everything you could find in the northern Michigan forest.
For
Nerdy.
me,
And
I draw the line at sentience. What level of sentience does a creature have? For me, I think the baseline of sentience is like a pig is very intelligent, a dog is very intelligent. I don't think I could go. I think that's the limit. That for me.
So, do you not eat bacon or ham?
But
Well, I do, but you know,
okay, I have
it was a long time before I learned about their sentience.
So there's a difference between what the pig that we eat is a lab experiment. That is a USDA certified pig. It would not exist if we didn't exist. A wild boar are disgusting animals that look like which one's Pomona or that look like Disney characters.
Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pumbaa's the pig.
Pumbaa?
Yeah, they look like Puma, like in real life. Those are boars. Like the pigs that we have, the beautiful pink pigs, those are 1960 lab pigs that we eat. So they're like cows. They're raised to be dumb. I'm sorry, I don't know how to put it. They're they're genetically modified to be food.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that mad cow disease got into the deer.
Yikes. It's sad what we did to the cow and the pig, but we made them food.
Yeah.
That video traumatized me. When I saw the turkey video, I was like, why do I feel sorry for turkeys right now? But if the grid went down, I would be humans over everything. You know?
Well, actually, that was a big part of my basic apocalypse survival plan. Is the fucking geese in the park are so used to people. Even with my aim, I could go out there and shoot one with a bow and arrow. I could go out there and harvest a goose every other day, and I'd be fed for a while.
Well, if we hit a food crisis for long enough, and people start taking out game animals, even in the city, there ain't going to be nothing left anywhere in a very little time.
Oh yeah. Especially with our population nowadays, it wouldn't happen. It would happen really fast somewhere like Los Angeles, where I forget how many people live in this town. And then this weekend on Sunday, for some dumb reason, I was sitting here and I started getting anxiety, and I'm like, oh, I need to go compulsively buy something. And I get in my car, and it took me a half an hour to go less than a mile on the freeway because everybody was leaving town or coming back into town.
One of the things I love about living here is everything's within 5 miles of the apartment building. I can get to everything I want without ever going on a highway. It's just the local city streets.
Hey, wasn't Biden in your neighborhood yesterday? Or is that today?
In mine?
No.
I wasn't aware of it. I didn't even know he was in Minnesota.
I saw his press conference last night because of what happened. That's the only reason I know where he is.
Well, if it comes to the whole apocalypse thing, and like you're saying about running out of game and food, yeah, I will definitely take out one of the neighbors before I would eat my cat, because I'm not eating friends. And honestly, if we're going on sentience and intelligent level, there's at least a half dozen people in this building that ain't as smart as cows.
I got a few that look like cows around here, so that'd be easy.
Hey, no fat shaming.
I didn't say anything about fat. I said they're not as smart as cows.
Are you kidding me? I weigh more right now than I ever have in my entire life. And I don't even know how it happened. I think that's why it's self-internalized fat phobia. I have gained so much weight from COVID. I have officially gained almost 45 pounds.
Wow.
Since I was 165 to 170 pounds my entire adult life. And then COVID hit and I've gained about 45 pounds.
Okay, Nerdy, you've got to be careful with the octopus. Now, see,
Alive
baby
or dead?
octopeds will crawl in through your ears and eat your brain, and then just walk around using your body as a meat mecca.
Oh, that's Cybermen. That's creepy. The Cybermen on Doctor Who, if you really think about it, that's a terrible way to go. Because they just use you as a battery.
Okay, so Jenny, what's the scenery today?
Well, we've been here before. I'm in the giant crappie parking lot. It's on the other end of the parking lot. So we're looking to the, let's see, I would say we're looking to the west-northwest across the La Crosse or St. Croix. No, I'm sorry, the Black River and Mississippi River confluence.
Awesome.
We're about, oh geez, how far is it? Maybe 40 miles, I think. 40, 45 miles south of Lake Pepin, which one of these days I'll get up there and do the show from there. It is the widest expanse of the Mississippi, anywhere along the Mississippi. It's several miles from side to side. You can almost see the curvature of the earth, you know.
Okay. And Wanderer does have valid point.
I learned something really fascinating about this area that I did not know before. What I did know before is that there's a lot of limestone under the dirt here, and of course water trickles through limestone, and the slightly acidic nature of rain will deteriorate that limestone, and that's where we get caves and stuff from. So there's a lot of caves and sinkholes and stuff around here. There can be 10, 15, 20 sinkholes in a 30-acre plot. They're that common. There's a couple of caves that are 17, 20 miles long around here.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of big limestone caves along the bluffs of the Mississippi.
There's this one phenomenon that happens nowhere else in the world. Or did they say one other place? Oh well, whatever. Either only place in the world or one other. And I'm forgetting the official word. It starts with a T. Maybe it'll come in. Where the rock under the dirt wears away in such a fashion that it becomes a chimney and a pipe out to the side. And the dynamics of weather and heating and physics and blah blah blah. The air begins to sink down through the sinkhole into the cave area, and then shoots out the side of the hills at not high velocity, but a few miles an hour easy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it will be measured. It can be measured as low as 25, 20 degrees, 25, 20, coming out of the hill. It's natural air conditioning, and so the whole valley where these little spots where this exists is naturally air conditioned year round. Okay. It's fascinating. And it's developed its own ecosystem, that there's plants that grow there that grow nowhere else, and it's very cool.
Alias fake name is saying that Lake Pepin is where water skis were invented.
I think I've heard that before too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd read that somewhere years ago.
Doc, do you live near any lakes or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? Do people like here? Boating is huge. Is boating huge out there?
The next town over has a lake, and it's people do all the boating stuff in there, and there was it's a rather small isolated lake, and we had a severe population problem going there for a while, but oh, good shit, 15, 20 years ago now, probably. They did a massive cleanup of it. So, and then there's the Winnebago River.
Hell yeah.
Where's
I
that
used,
from?
I used to swim in the Winnebago River as a kid. That's how I got a strong immune system, because town after town processes its raw sewage in a Winnebago River before it even gets to my town. So when I was a kid, we went swimming in raw shit, to cool off.
How'd it taste?
Like you do, yes. Well, I mean, to be fair, you live in Iowa.
Mm,
Isn't the whole state raw sewage?
pretty much.
Though, when I was near my elementary school, when I was a kid, we had these giant power lines. And I'm not kidding you. At a meeting one time, someone asked, like, are those power lines bad for our health? The next year, they removed all of them.
Shit.
Because they were, and now we have more efficient ones, they tell us.
Okay, Greg, raccoons did not invent surfing. I mean, haven't you been following the literature lately? Surfing was invented by the monkeys. That's how they got to South America thousands of years ago.
Oh, damn it. You said the monkeys. Hey, 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 we're the monkeys. Now I have that stuck in my head.
Yeah, I thought of that too, just as I said it.
We're too busy singing. Put anybody down.
So one of those guys, I can't remember which one, they live in my town, and their child was like famous in sports around here, and it's not rare to see one of the monkeys. But I think I gotta look it up now. I don't think he's with us anymore.
Well, that's actually a little brush with greatness I had about 2 years ago. Was I actually got an order from Nesbitt, sent him a Lego set.
Oh wow,
Groovy. From Mike Nesmith.
Yeah,
it
Awesome.
might have been. It was
I got an
probably-
order through my Bricklink for a Lego set he wanted.
Sell his address, you can make a lot of money.
Oh, that's awesome. There's all kinds of famous people that live near me, and there's not one person I want to dox except for Terry Crews. Because Terry Crews became this weird homophobe, trans, everything phobe. He hates everything, and he became like weirdly he's like weirdly conservative Christian, and no one knew. And like in LA, most people assume that you're left if you live here, And I saw an interview with him, and he like shocked this young black man who was like, I'm just trying to give you an interview. I don't want to scoop. So Terry Crews, if I ever get doxxed, I'm going to tell everyone where Terry Crews lives too. He's nice to I judge people on how you treat like waiter, like I know a lot of people that work in the industry around here as far as the restaurant industry, and like if you're a bad tipper, people will talk about you. They'll say, oh, blah 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 is cheap, don't help them. Brendan Fraser is very famous for being a tightwad, but Terry Crews is a very polite human being, and he tips well, but he just hates everything.
Yeah, I did delivery for a restaurant. This was like 15 years ago. And it wasn't pizza. It was for a barbecue joint. So it was like, ribs and that, a bit more upscale. And it always pissed me off how often, I was delivering like $50, $100 dinners to these lake houses, and people would stiff me on the tip.
That's insane. That to me, especially out here, because people live off of tips.
What really got me was it was one of the restaurant's managers that I would deliver to, and he would comp the meal, so he wasn't even paying for the fucking food, and he would still stiff me on the tip.
Oh, what a fuck.
Oh, that's a tight one. That's I've worked from crappy fast food jobs to being a waiter to being a cook to being a bottle wash, being the guy, the dishwasher. So I respect the industry through and through. I treat everybody with respect.
I once got a squash as a tip delivering. It was
Okay.
I forget the name of it. It's the green one. That's like
Butternut.
the star shape.
Acorn.
Acorn. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah, the acorn
Acorn
squash are my
squash.
favorite.
Yeah, that happens in Iowa.
Well, here in Minnesota,
I grew up myself.
I actually had the experience that where I used to live in the smaller community, there was a rural gas station, and about twice a week somebody would leave a box of produce from their garden by the gas pumps for everybody to take what they wanted.
Oh, that's awesome. Around here, it's pretty known that if you have a fruit tree in front of your house, that like it's, if someone walked up and took a piece off, they would be like, "Thank you for taking it off my tree," because most people around here are trying to help others. But most people just plant those in their backyard nowadays. I'm trying to think the weirdest thing that I've ever been tipped that wasn't like UPS driver straight porn style. I'm trying to think.
Wait a minute, what does that mean?
So when so there's okay, little backstory. Before my dad passed and made me the real life Montgomery Brewster, I was painter. I owned several paint guns. I was actually really, really good at it. And like I got known in my town for painting hot women's houses. And then this one guy was like, "Wait a minute, Godless Sewing painted my wife's house." And he figured out that I effed his wife.
Oh dear.
But it just kind of happened, and I didn't even do it on purpose. I wasn't even trying to be like, it was nothing malicious whatsoever. I know I'm not the first guy. I know I'm not the first guy that she's
So you
done.
tripped on the floor and your dick stuck in her?
You know what it is I do a lot of sit-ups and it's hot out here, and I'll paint with a tight shirt on, like
Yeah, over 40 years of doing repairs, I never had that happen. But then again, it's probably more the fact that I'm oblivious to when people try to flirt with me.
So in a weird way I am too, because I'm really goal oriented. So if I start a job, I want to finish it, and I was just like, "Hey, why are you staring at me?" And then she says, "You're dumb. Come over here, young man."
So you're basically the pool boy with a brush.
Yeah,
Pool
well,
boy, man, boys don't work as hard. I wish I was a pool boy. Hey, I'm 40. That's what I'll admit to. If anyone's out there, if you're rich and you're looking for a cabana old guy, I still look good in a Speedo. Call me. Call me. We can retire together. I am not above.
Wait a minute, you just said you gained 45 pounds.
Oh, but I do push-ups and I work out. So I'm beefy right now. I'm at my fighting weight right now. And I don't have a stomach. This is the first time I've ever gained this much weight without looking like I'm 2 months pregnant.
I think you're officially hot.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, because when I gain weight, it's always in my stomach and in my ass. It's genetics. It just goes to two places. And so I'm just one of those people where, I look like I swallowed a basketball.
I keep gaining weight in my subconscious. I don't know. It sounds like the start of a Stephen Wright joke.
I'm not familiar with Stephen Wright.
Really?
No way. Really?
Who's Stephen Wright?
I spilled spot remover on my dog and now he's gone.
Okay, I've
That
heard
guy.
Okay. I know it's shocking. There's pop culture I'm not fully indoctrinated in.
Well,
But
he's
yeah,
been around long as you have.
Well, he is from Boston, so wrong coast anyway.
But back to tips. Like I've been when I had that job, it wasn't rare for I'd finish a painting job and someone would hand me like $400 or $500 bills. Like, here's a tip. I'm like, hey, thanks. So I do kind of miss that job. But there are a couple men around this town that give me dirty looks, and one did try to hit me with his car, but I deserved it.
I had a weird thing happen yesterday.
What's that?
A friend of mine from who I met, geez, what year was that? 1971. At the very first job I had, his name was Rich, and we ended up being old hippie buddies, and did all kinds of nasty chemicals and photographed lots of rock concerts and fucked a lot and all this kind of stuff. And we kind of lost track after like 78, 79. We're still in vague contact with each other, but not really. We certainly weren't hanging out. He was aware that I transitioned because Milwaukee is really basically just a small town. And he called me yesterday out of the blue. I have no idea where he got my number or anything. Well, he texted me actually. I think it was probably through FaceTime or Facebook. Excuse me, Meta. Dumbest name on the planet.
I have a quick question.
It was really amazing. I mean, I've known this guy for 50 fucking years.
That's awesome.
And it was just weird getting a hold of him and trading war stories for over our lifetimes. And what did you do? What did you do? And I knew his ex-wife. I knew his dad, his mom. Just all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cosmic.
I absolutely love stuff like that. I have a good friend that we went to catechism classes together. We played soccer and baseball when we were little kids. And whenever I get around him, it's like it's kind of like we say dude and bro way more. It's like going back 20 years,
The one question Rich kept asking always, how come you look 25 years younger than I do? And I said, I'll share with you my estrogen.
I was about to say that's unfair. Going through second puberty literally turns the clock back, and that's unfair.
Well, you can try it. It's free.
I'm good. I got melanated skin. I won't start showing my age for at least 20 more years.
Right now, my body's thoroughly confused because it doesn't know if I'm going through puberty or menopause.
Depends on whether or not you forget a dose during the day.
Yeah, actually, I've got to do my shot today.
So I'm looking at it and I completely forgot. Do you guys see this lovely cabinet right here? Okay.
So,
here it is. 13. How old is my son? He's 12. 13 years ago, I built this at the shop at my job, which I almost just doxed myself. So, I did this stupid thing that I never recommend. I got married, and my ex-wife took most of the furniture because she didn't own any furniture, and I honestly didn't care. And when you give someone half, it's literally half. So we're all buddy. We're friends now. When I got my LCD sewing machine last Sunday, I'm driving home in traffic, and she calls me, and she's like, hey, I need you to come pick up Isaiah. I'm only down to one car. I said, cool, sure thing. Her husband's brother, she owns a giant condo, and her husband's brother has been paying rent so much to the point where he's been paying half the rent, and she's like, I'm giving this dude a room. Hey, if you pay half my rent, I'm gonna give you half my house. But anyways,
I still want to know this thing about half the furniture. Yeah, when
I left.
my ex pushed me out of the house, I wound up with a studio apartment where I had to build all the furniture from stuff I found abandoned in the alleys.
We went to court, and the judge felt sorry for me and gave me half my stuff back. Really is what it was. Because in the marriage, they if you have assets, they go right down the middle. Like, they're not playing. They were not playing. Especially like we went through court, so everything was like documented. So
we were never legally married. We just lived together for 12 years, and I raised our kids.
So my ex-wife, she looks at me and she's like, do you want me to help you get it in the car? And I said, what are you talking about? And she's like, I'm finally gonna give your cabinet back to you. And when she wasn't even done talking, I turned around, I pushed down the seats in my car, and I went upstairs, and that thing was already in the hallway waiting for me. And the funny thing is, after all these years, I built that thing to last. Ponderosa wood from I don't know if it's Home Depot or Lowe's. It's that wood that Ben Shapiro was holding up in a bag. But I used the expensive stuff, and it's still standing to this day. Welcome home, cabinet. It's crying right now because it had to live with my ex-wife for the past 12 years. But it's back. And out of pure just pettiness, I took it straight out of the car. She smoked cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigarette in 3 years. This room smells like my ex-wife's house. But to be fair, some of my sewing machines, when I buy them, I open them up, and it's like a 1950s ashtray. So this room smells like smoke anyways. But I got my victory cabinet from my ex-wife. Stay petty, kids. You will win one day. All that's left is she still has my Nintendo Wii, which is obsolete because it's the first generation Wii, but it doesn't matter because I want it back. No, we actually get along, but she knows that I'm petty as hell, and she wanted to get rid of it, and she knew if I saw it in the trash, I would have screamed, "What the F?" And then I would have picked it out of the trash. Oh. Sorry, Tiny Captain. What was your question? I'm reading I'm all up in the chat.
Yeah, I'm missing some stuff in the side chat because I'm trying to edit the description as we go.
Hey, Robert X. Oh, you guys are, anytime you guys want to come over and come to my sweatshop, man cave, come on in. I got all kinds of unfinished projects I need help with.
Hey, Will.
Well, if you were closer, I'd do some of that.
Did I ever tell you how badly I think poor Robert X got cheated? I think he totally deserves the NC-17 rating.
What happened? What happened?
I somehow imagine someone getting something like...
Doc, what am I not getting about this?
What how I said Robert X totally deserves the NC-17 rating?
Yeah, what am I not getting here?
X rating, NC-17.
Oh.
I know. You know what? You don't need a dissociative disorder to get my humor, but it helps.
Well, I think that estrogen makes you a little, not terribly, but just a little bit stupid here and there. That's...
No, I painted it. I got that wood from Lowe's, and the only reason I bring it up is because I had a good friend. We were building something. We walked in Lowe's, and he saw all this wood wrapped in plastic, and he's like, "What kind of bougie punk would buy that kind of wood?" And we all laughed, and I didn't want to admit that it was me. But I built that in like 15 minutes with screws and anchor, and it's still standing after all these years.
There's been a number of times that if I'd had a pickup truck, I would have taken the pallet of like random scraps they had.
That's one reason I always buy a vehicle big enough that I can pick stuff. Like I have
That's a big reason I don't buy a vehicle big enough to haul stuff.
my truck, I haven't been driving the truck around because I got money, but I'm not a millionaire. And if you're driving a 1988 truck around right now, you're a millionaire because gas is so expensive here. It's not even funny.
It went down here again, another dime.
I'm gonna go move where you live.
It's 309. One place I saw 304.
Yeah, you know, and people are bitching about the gas prices, but it's like it never went above 3.25 a gallon here.
Yeah,
and it's last I saw it was like 307.
497.
But when we moved here in February of 2019, we were paying $265, $285. And when I drove to New York back in 2008, I was paying $4.25, $4.50 a gallon the whole trip. So it's like the gas prices are not as high as they have been in previous years. Why is everyone panicking?
I think around here, people need a reason to hate Joe Biden.
Yep.
Yeah, they think that Joe Biden gets up in the morning, looks at the oil futures, and decides what price gas is going to be.
That's why I can't watch righty stuff, because when they blame Joe Biden, I'm like, he doesn't even work there.
Yeah, well, and this is the other thing too, that Americans are bitching about the gas prices, but okay, Doom Bunny's saying it's $2 a liter there.
Well, the Republicans are they got their priorities so fucked up. Like, did you hear any Republicans say anything about the latest school shooting? No, they're glad that it's so common now that they don't even have to waste time on thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, Commander. That's what I was saying. That this same city, just before the pandemic started, we were paying 60 to 80 cents a gallon more than we are now.
It's outrageous here. Our California is the experiment because we have more people here, so we pay higher prices. And to go off of what Jenni said, every time there's a school shooting, it makes me physically ill because my kid is of that age where he could have been sitting in that library. He could have been in that room.
Well, did you hear where the kid got the gun?
No.
Daddy bought it last Friday.
Holy mother of pearl.
Okay. Why is that the least bit surprising that he got it from his father's collection?
I haven't heard specifically, but I heard somebody describe it that it sounded like if it was a gift from Daddy.
Yep.
Okay, so I wanna say something really quick about that. When I was 12, my father bought me a Mossberg pistol grip shotgun. And then I had it in my hands. I held it for about 15 minutes, and my mom took it away from me. So it's not rare for someone to buy their kid a gun. I know in today's world that seems insane, but the kid shot someone with it, so I'll shut up.
Was that Mossberg? What is it? I'm thinking two numbers, 517 or 800 something.
It's somewhere around that. I gotta go look at it. True story. My mom took it from me, and I had no reason to own a gun, to tell you the honest truth. Sorry to not sound gangster, but I had no reason to. I did not touch that thing until my father passed away, and I took possession of it again. So almost 30 something. I'm not that old.
The gun freakos say that's the best weapon you can have for home defense.
It is, because it's not accurate and it shoots this way. It shoots in every direction. I forgot that you can't see me.
It's because it's a pistol grip. It's got a short swing. You're not going to hit the corner of the wall or something while you're swinging
The
around.
best thing you can have for home defense is a good dog, because nobody's going to wrestle it out of your hand and use it against you. And even if it's a Chihuahua, even if it's a stupid little yapper that won't actually do anything, at least you've got an alarm system that's going to tell you anytime a stranger tries to come in.
I always grew up with big dogs, so I'm pro dog. And to answer what Jeff said, Americans are crazy. We arm our children. It's not rare. I know it's insane, but it's not rare at all.
Well, it's deer season here. We got 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds going out hunting with mom and dad.
Yep.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like most kids are like this guy knows more about firearms than I ever knew, and than I know now.
Well,
and
it's a good thing I never got the notion that a gun was going to solve anything, because any time in my life it would not have been difficult for me to just walk into a half dozen relatives' houses and just pick up something.
Yeah, you gotta do some modules, right? I'm a hothead, and I wouldn't pick up a firearm against somebody. And I'm a complete hothead. It takes a different kind of person to kill someone in cold blood.
I could have just walked into any of my uncle's houses and picked up a rifle and a box of bullets, and the most I would get is, "Oh, you're gonna go practice?"
Yeah.
I heard this morning that Rittenhouse punk brought in $2 million in donations.
I'm
not surprised.
That makes me physically ill.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna write him a letter. God, I'm old. We don't write letters anymore. I'm gonna send him an email and show him a bunch of organizations that could really, really, really use his help. I'll tell him to pick a gay and lesbian center in any major city.
You might take that as a suggestion for where to go shooting.
Jenni, didn't you say that he was he got up and said that he wasn't against BLM and all that?
Yes, he said he's pro BLM specifically.
Wow, that kind of makes...
since then he's been seen hanging out with Trump and Fox people and just all kinds of extreme right wingers. So
I'm wondering if that's something he actually thought himself, or if that's something he was coached to say.
Child of a mind. That's the mind of a child. Like, oh, if I say this, everyone's gonna love me. Meanwhile, it's literally like a child when you tell, hey, don't do that, and they're like, oh, I'll never do it again, and then they literally go back and do it again.
It's because he is a child.
That's why I keep on saying it's just yikes. How old is he?
He just turned 18.
He's a baby.
Between when he was charged and when he went on trial, he turned 18.
Yeah, that's another thing. I carried a knife around most of my life and never thought anything of it.
Oh, me too. And now I carry, I'm wearing it right now. I always have a Leatherman on me, and I feel naked if I don't have one on me.
I always have a knife in my purse.
Yeah, I've just got just a folding utility knife that was on my key ring. But the spring in mine broke. I have to go get another one. Because right now it won't stay closed. It was opening up in my pocket, and I'm going to stab myself with it.
Oh, Nerdy, I love you.
And my knife is pretty nasty. It's the first half of the blade is standard blade, and the rest is serrated. So if that goes in you, it's going to come out pretty rough.
I feel bad for being so callous. Like yesterday, when I saw there was a school shooting, I was like, "Oh, another one," and I literally changed the channel because I didn't want to deal with it emotionally.
Yeah,
because I was
so that means, let's see, since since Thanksgiving, since that parade, there has been at least 12 children killed by crazy fucks.
And I hate to bring up even worse stories. Have you guys seen? There's a video floating around about a father in Texas went to go pick up his kid, and the mom was playing games or something, and they were arguing over the kid, which I'm telling you is not rare, because it wasn't about the kid. It was about the fact these people just flat out hate each other.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Where's my kid? It's 2:30. It's my time." And the boyfriend came out with a semi-auto and told the husband to leave. He said no. They wrestled, and it's all on video. The boyfriend shot and killed the father. Keep in mind, this is Texas, and he's not being charged.
Oh my God.
This is why I have to get off of Facebook, because it makes me so angry. But I live in lefty land. That guy would have been life in prison in California. You just don't shoot people. You don't randomly shoot people. And the guy wasn't scared for his life. He walked out with looks like a freaking MP5 or some Terminator gun.
Well, of course he wasn't charged because the guy was trying to get his gun away from him, so that clearly made it self-defense.
I tell you, I live in lefty land. It's just we have different rules here. You can't just randomly shoot people. You can't. At least here. It's sad though that that's not it's not national news, and B, that people are just kind of like, it's Texas. And some guy lost his life because his ex-wife was felt like being a wiener that day.
Well, now she's got full custody and no what do you call that? See, this is what getting old is. Money from the old man. What do you call that?
Oh, child support.
Oh yeah, child support. What? There's another
alimony. Alimony is
alimony. Yes,
is from the marriage, and child support is from is because of the child.
I just have one question for Greg. How do you get your breath into the tube?
Robert,
it took you a second, didn't it?
You got to let me in on the secret, on the joke.
No, I was reading Robert X's comment and said
He
if
said
someone
he has a tube of breath spray. So I'm wondering how he gets his breath into the tube.
Yeah,
Ew.
Jenny, Roberts is on the screen now. He said, if somebody threatened me with a weapon, I drop my pants and then they feel sorry for me and let me be.
Comment of the day. I needed that. Oh, I needed to laugh.
Whoa, buddy, you got problems.
Oh.
Take it easy.
Where do you guys live? Around here, people drop their pants for all different kinds of reasons, I guess. So I found this pin of Frosty going down a rainbow, but now it's extra. If you think about it in modern terms, it's extra gay.
How so?
How is it extra gay instead of just regular gay?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, anything that's gay is extra in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, yeah, I think you're right. It's a tragedy now that it's gay.
Oh, don't even get me started. I've started making a patch that says performative homosexuality is dangerous.
It said what?
Performative homosexuality is dangerous.
It's been
like at
a high wire.
No, I don't want to get into it because it's like an after school special deep subject, but I feel like sometimes like when someone embraces something, sometimes they'll embrace the stereotype and not look into the culture behind it and why people act a certain way. And we're digressing so much as a species that like I feel like we're going backwards with the LGBTQIA plus community. like it's going back to the 90s where it's like, oh, you guys stay over there and we'll stay over here.
Oh, it's going a lot further back than that. Will.
That's what I'm saying. And so like I'm just bringing awareness to it.
This is what it felt like in the 70s, where you go out the door and you know that you better not even hold hands with your partner because something could damn well happen.
Come at me, mother effer. Come at me.
This is why I carry a knife.
I'm in my fighting weight right now.
There are trans women who seriously do carry a weapon, a firearm, and recommend that all trans women carry a firearm because it's gotten so dangerous.
Here in LA, if you ran up on anyone, you're gonna get stabbed or shot. Anyone. See, that's the one crazy thing about living in a place like LA, that the threat of violence is so high that most people mind their own business because they don't want to find out if somebody's got a gun on them or not.
Well, I'm seriously considering buying.
You should. Weapon. You should. I'm pro firearm in the sense of in the self-defense. In the way of self-defense, because right now we live in crazy times. People have lost their damn mind.
I want one of those holsters that goes between your legs. I haven't had a gun between my legs for a long time. So.
You said it. You said it. I was trying not to.
I want enough cleavage that I could put a gun there without people noticing it. Not that I've got any interest in buying a gun. I just want the cleavage.
I put my cell phone there. I carry my cell phone in my bra.
I have holsters for all of that. And I'm not kidding you. I have all kind of weird tactical holsters. And one of the many times Isaiah got in trouble when he was younger, he ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon. So I have a full, scared guy tactical gear.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Hide your credit cards from your kids. It's a different era.
I love these photographs you see on Twitter or wherever on the net of some guy with a couple of AR-15s, a couple of 45 semi-automatics and clips and weapons and all kinds of military garb, and he's standing in a donut shop.
I've seen that.
It's that dangerous to buy donuts now.
Or the one that always creeps me out is when you see a bunch of people with AR-15s in Starbucks. I've been to Starbucks in the hood. They are not that dangerous. I've been to Starbucks all over in some of the worst neighborhoods in LA, and they are not that dangerous.
I haven't run into too many of those guys myself, but the ones I do, I absolutely laugh at out loud to their face, pointing at them. It's just so funny that we'd walk around like that.
I almost got in a fight with one guy because I called him. I said, "Are you overcompensating for something?" And he said, "What?" I said, "Do you have a tiny penis?" He was like 5, and I was being mean, but he was like 5'5". The guy had a 357 freaking cannon on his hip. It looked like he had a bazooka on him because he was so little. And I'm not talking trash. I'm 5'9", but I'm just saying. And like I walked by, I said, "Open carry, really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And like an idiot, I stopped because I have the Marty McFly syndrome. And I stopped like an idiot, and I was like, "Do you have a tiny penis?"
How did he react?
He didn't. Honestly, most people don't know how to take me because I grew up watching John Cleese. So I say things, and people they think I'm either joking or I'm insane, but I'm being serious. So I say things in a very straight-laced way. But I feel like a lot of people overcompensate. I do. I have a big truck because I have a hoarding problem, which is overcompensation for pick an issue. Why do people hoard stuff?
Because mom threw all your stuff away when you were a kid.
That's one.
It's because of fear.
Like around here, if like you see, well, more women drive trucks. Well, again, where I live in LA, there's more women than men. But like when you see a shorter guy in like a monster truck, I mean, the tires are almost my height. People will be like, "Yeah, he's overcompensating," and it's not rare around here at all.
Oh yeah, for many years that and anytime we see some guy in a fancy sports car or in one of these trucks that's got the high polished job that you can tell the guy has never put anything in the bed, we just scream sorry about your penis.
Back home in Milwaukee, people were a lot more normal than California, and we would look at people funny when they had SUVs and pickup trucks in the middle of the city. We just thought that was a riot. What do you have a truck for? You get groceries, and so they would get scorned and pointed at and laughed at and stuff like that. Here in my little bitty BMW, I get scorned and laughed at because everybody has a truck. It is really 180 different.
Oh, that's funny. Here it's honestly, a lot of men buy trucks because they think that's what they're supposed to do. Which is great for the dealerships because people have money around here,
Oh, and the profitability is so high.
But like what Purple said about people not scratching their truck, my vehicle, especially the one that I love and praise, it's still a work truck. I spilled coffee in that thing. There's still my truck. I kept the bottom half of Isaiah's car seat because it has big cup holders in it. There's Cheerios from 10 petrified Cheerios in that thing. My truck is, it's a work truck. I used to smoke in it. It's beat up because it's a truck. It's my truck is 25 feet long, nerdy. It's a 1988 Ford F-150. And I also have a 2000 and I don't know what TARDIS blue piece of junk Ford F-150 as well. And I
yeah, good luck finding a parking space downtown.
Oh, that's why I bought a practical car. I own a soccer mom car for that very reason.
It was actually one of the things I liked about the Geo Metro. If nothing else, I could park it in the cart rack.
You're not lying either.
No, actually, I had a designated space right by the door of the public library because every time they plowed the lot, it's where they kept pushing the snow pile up. So it wasn't a full parking space. It was only about 2/3 the width of a space, but big enough for me.
Oh, Tundras are nice trucks. I'll tell you, I was actually thinking of Jenni the other day. This was actually yesterday. Someone I know recently bought a Porsche, and I don't think who makes Porsche? They have to be 5.5.
Porsche. Well,
no. What I'm saying
bought
is
by Volkswagen, but it's mostly an independent arm of Volkswagen.
What human being did they measure that would fit in that vehicle? Because I'm 5'9" and I am like crammed in there like NASCAR. Porsches are made for people that are like 5'5". That's all I'm saying. I went off on this tangent of like who makes these things. And I have a generator at the job that is so big it has a control panel room. And again, whoever built that, they were about Isaiah's size. Because all the panels are there, but I have to bend down because they were a tiny person built that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know several 6-footers that own Porsches 911s.
I saw a 6'5" African American man get out of a Mazda Miata recently. So I'm not talking
Whoa.
trash. Yeah,
No
I said the
kidding.
same thing.
Jeez.
There was a car accident and like it was pretty bad. And he got out of the car and everybody was like, oh. And it wasn't because of his race, it was because of his size. He was bigger than the car.
I used to have a friend, Mike Mills. He played for Marquette University in their glory days in the early 70s. So he was like 6'10", 6'11", something like that. He wanted to drive a 2002, and it was too small for him, but he still wanted it. And so we had to re-engineer his seat placement and had to move it back a full 8 inches and had to drop it down 2 inches. But we got him in it, and he was perfectly happy. His legs and arms were still long enough to drive the car.
My ex brother-in-law had, he was famous in the 90s. He played for the Raiders. He's a complete degenerate piece of garbage now. But he had a raised Ford Explorer. Okay, so he is 6'7". He had the roof extended. He had the seat pulled back and everything. At my height, when I sat in that thing, I looked like a little kid. He basically made the Ford Explorer bigger. So you can do it, but you have to have money to,
Okay, but why buy a Ford Explorer at that point?
It was literally like 1991 when they were really popular.
Yeah, but there are larger and better trucks available.
I agree. I've
Why,
owned
if you got to do that kind of shit to a Ford Explorer, why didn't you buy a Chevy Suburban to start with?
Or a Bronco, because they were still selling Broncos back then. And I have a friend.
Well, the Bronco's just the 2-door version of the Suburban.
Oh, Broncos are amazing vehicles. Do not let O.J. Simpson ruin those vehicles.
Or not the Bronco. The Blazer is the Suburban, is a 2-door.
So I want to I'm not trying to change the subject too much, but I want to just, interject with some laughter. I am subscribed to O.J. Simpson on Twitter because I don't think he realizes that he murdered people. There was one time that I was going through the comments and I saw somebody in this room right now, Jenni, who had left a comment telling OJ to go stuff himself.
I didn't know I didn't.
It was you said yeah, because you say buddy boy to people. It was a while ago. I'll scroll through. I don't screenshot.
I would never say anything harsh to a celebrity.
Trust me, he pisses me off too. And my grandfather knew him personally.
I detest the man.
American.
Well, you're saying that he doesn't. You don't think he knows, and it's like, it's definitely a legitimate thing that if somebody has told themselves a different version of history long enough, they will believe it themselves.
He's very sociopathic if you really think about what he's been through. Because he was in prison in Nevada because the state of Nevada doesn't joke around. They're like, hey, this is Sin City. If you commit a crime and get caught, you're dumb and you're going to jail. In California, if you have money, they'll let you go. But he did, 5 years or something crazy in Nevada. And he got out, and because he's rich, he went right back to his golf club, his golf course life.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely. And so he's one of those people that I subscribe and unsubscribe to because he pisses me off so much. Because, every once in a while, every day, he'll say something and someone will be like, oh, I'm glad you took a stab at it, OJ. Every day. And I'm there all day for those comments. Or they'll be like, killer joke, OJ. killer joke.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh,
glad
okay,
they
that
were on it and got
one was,
rid of
that
Locke
one was
again.
razor thin.
Yeah, exactly. Or if he ever says something doesn't fit, 20,000 people will comment, or you'll just get flooded with memes. You know. I haven't been going on Twitter. I go and I still post my shirts and stuff, but I haven't been going on lately because
Okay.
it's like Facebook. It's just not good for the mental health if you do it too much.
All right. And we've got the air raid siren going off, which it's first Wednesday, but why is it 20 minutes late from when it was supposed to go?
Uh-oh.
It's tired.
That means alien invasion. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
know
I can see the spaceships towards your direction.
people
Right in there.
would, if there were air raid sirens in Southern California, people would be like running into each other, not knowing what to do.
What do you
When
think would happen if that happened in Iowa?
They'd be running into corn stalks. Get real.
when I lived in Portland, they would do the same thing where they would check the sirens and stuff. First time I heard it, it's almost embarrassing what I did. I did a duck and like I literally did a duck and roll move into the bushes and was like, "What's going on? What the hell is that?" Because I had never lived in a city where that was a regular thing at all.
That's
I
funny.
didn't know. And they have tsunami warnings too, which are the same siren. So you have to look it up and see what's going on. Is it a death wave? Is it a nuke? What's going on? But ever since that tsunami, was it on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
They every city on the coast all of a sudden or near the coast started checking their tsunami warnings and putting buoys out. It's actually really interesting science if you think about it. Because you can't stop it, but you can warn yourself to hold on.
Well, and it isn't the nature of a tsunami that they generally don't really have much warning.
Exactly.
I got to
Depends on
respond.
where it originates versus where you are, where you're residing. You know that tsunami came from fucking Indonesia. You had all day of a warning because it
What's
took
that,
all day
Doc?
to get across the Pacific.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm totally derailing everything, but I was going to respond to Godless Scummer there. Doomsday prepping probably takes forethought, so probably not.
Montana is the state. I say it all the time, and I'm still friends with him. I had a neighbor who moved to Montana in 1999 because he thought the world was going to end. Well, no, he thought Y2K was going to happen, and he still lives there.
Although,
well, what I want to know is one of the things that these doomsday preppers had always been on about is what happens with a pandemic. So why the fuck aren't they all hiding in their underground bunkers and leaving the rest of us alone?
For real.
Because they don't believe it's real.
I do have to kind of regress on my earlier comment a little bit because my brain is fractured, compartmental, and nonlinear. But I do have family that like last I knew still keeps like emergency rations, like freeze dried food and shit like that packed away
In Iowa?
for the apocalypse. They used to live in Iowa. They used to live here with us. They live out of state now, but last I knew, that's what they did.
Okay, so I have all that stuff, but it's for a real reason. It's for earthquakes because earthquakes are real.
Yeah.
Well,
that's fair.
I call that canned goods in my pantry.
Some places it makes a lot of sense to have a go bag of some sort.
Yeah.
I have a go bag for home because of the flooding.
I have I have a bunch of fire safes. Like I am ready for earthquake or fire. There's all kinds of preparation that you have to do. But I still don't believe in a sky daddy. Or
have
that the Sky
absolute-
Daddy's gonna come beat me up.
I have absolutely no preparation for any emergency of any kind. Not so much as a blanket in my vehicle.
Well, you don't tell where you live, but you live in Iowa, and
Mhm.
there's on your west coast, you got a little bit of the driftless area in the northeast corner. But other than that, Iowa is flat as a fucking pancake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Well, what the hell's gonna happen?
Well, we deal with flooding and blizzards.
Well, and I suppose
What has been brought to my attention living here, we've had 3 power outages, never more than a couple hours, but with the electricity off, we have absolutely no way to heat anything.
Yep.
And there isn't any kind of emergency backup I can keep in the apartment, that doesn't present a pretty clear danger with storing the fuel.
I think my oven might still be gas. Maybe.
what about one of those 25, 30-pound propane tanks? There's nothing dangerous about those.
Yeah, I'm
all
sure
that.
they won't let me store it in the apartment.
Well, don't fucking tell them.
I know. Go to Walmart and get the small ones, just so you could power a stove or something. Like I have, man. I'm ready for an actual natural disaster. Like
Well,
I'm ready.
I've got a couple of those 1-pound canisters for my torch in my with my tools, but that's stored off site.
Behind this words. Let's find your words, William. Behind this cart is a cabinet, and I have all my my earthquake stuff in there. I built cabinets along the whole back end of this room, actually to reinforce the room too.
Batteries are good for a lot of things, but you won't get much heat off of them. I've got my set of power tool batteries I always keep charged up, and I can run a bunch of stuff off of those. But, I really don't have a way to warm up food if the power's out. And, Doc, you were saying about a gas stove, but it kind of depends how new a stove it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them now have, electronic control elements. So even if it's a gas stove without the electricity, it might not turn on.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
As long as you could smell the gas, you can get a fire going. If you may not be able to regulate it, but as long as you can smell gas, you can get a fire going or blow yourself up. Do not take any medical advice.
That's the problem, that a lot of them, the regulator goes through an electronic circuit.
Yeah.
So it won't open the valve if it doesn't have electrical power.
No, Tiny Captain, I don't. I built like a bunch of storage cabinets around my house in like areas that are cool to store stuff like that.
Yeah, and Commander, a space heater running off of a car battery is not going to run very long. You'll deplete the battery in no time.
Oh, and to speak on what Commander 401 said earlier about my duck and cover for a nuke, I will always reserve the right to put my head between my legs and kiss my ass goodbye, because if a nuke went off, there is nothing you can do. And there's a good movie called The Day After, the original movie.
I remember that.
It in the best ways the 1980s could explain, that shows what would happen after. It's really accurate of what would happen after a nuclear.
The thing about a nuke is if you're not in the actual ground zero blast range, or radius, you're a little further out than that. You're not even going to know it's about to happen until you go blind.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why nukes are evil. Watch that movie, and that's in that movie. See, Jenny knows it's in that movie. Nukes are scary. That's why if a nuke goes off, you're screwed. Like, bye.
Well,
it's been great.
What Tiny Captain's saying, that those small propane tanks, especially if they get banged around a bit or that, they have explosions.
Me too, Tiny Commander. By no means am I being mean. I'm a smart ass. By no means. I reserve the right to always be dramatic as hell at my death.
Well, I have one of those propane cylinders in my closet, and it has accumulated maybe an 1/8 inch worth of dust since I put it down there. It's if you have it in the middle of traffic, sure, it's going to get banged around and stuff. But if you put it somewhere until you actually need it, it's going to be fine. Don't be so paranoid, folks. You got to be smart if you're going to run a propane heater inside. As far as things like venting.
Don't even get me started.
But it'll keep you warm in one room for a while.
Oh, and Mage, I do have a redneck washing machine that I keep in my bathroom. It's just a bucket with a plunger in it. Just when I just need to wash out a few things, it's not worth paying for the laundry machines. Actually, I use it a lot for washing Lego.
Heck yeah, Jeff. I need a new movie. I'm always looking for new movies. If anyone has a suggestion, send it to me. Always.
I'll check that out too.
Perp, eventually you'll learn how to wash your panties every couple of days. And that's just what you do.
Just how Doc got me into Skinny Puppy.
Okay. Jenny, that's something, that's not a new thing for me.
Oh, good.
So, good. But there's so many other things I still need help learning, but that's not an issue. And like I say, that's why I've got the little 5-gallon washing machine, just for when I just need to do a handful of stuff. Actually, it's been a big thing the last 2 years since I'm, basically been living in my pajamas, and that's about all the laundry I've got to do is just wash out my pajamas once a week.
I used to enjoy going out for short trips wearing my pajama bottoms and stuff like that. But I decided that's just really crude. And I've seen enough people doing it, and just kind of it looks bad. I just don't want to do it.
I wondered where you were, Stool.
Hey, Stool.
I'm so starved for new stuff to watch. I watch old stuff from the BBC, and I'm rewatching Stargate for the billionth time because it's on Netflix now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it hasn't been. This is the first time in my memory that SG-1 has been on Netflix. I could be wrong, but in America,
it was on Netflix. But yeah, back around 2012, 2013.
Okay,
they had it.
That's nice to know. I've met this new friend here. It's momentous because I don't have any friends around here. I just don't. She's somebody I met at the LGBT center, and she's just a really sweet kid. She's 27. And we've discovered that we have just an incredible number of things in common that we like and stuff. And because there's such a generational difference between us, there's a whole lot of things that she's into that I have no clue about, and there's a whole lot of things I'm into that she has no clue about. And Stargate SG-1 is one of them. And she's a real sci-fi fan, and so she wants to watch the whole series. And it's nice to know where I can get it now.
Oh, so heck yeah.
We'll make plans to watch that over time.
Yeah, I'd like to watch the whole thing. It's just, I don't really feel like watching it alone. I'd like to have somebody to watch it with.
We should.
But I never got to see the end of it. But at this point, it's been so many years, I'd just like to start from the beginning.
All 9 and 10, season 9 and 10 are awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Hey, 9 and 10 of what? What are we talking about? Come on, give me.
Stargate SG-1 and go.
Yeah, shut up. Sorry,
all hallowed are the Ori.
I'm not
shall be built. I'm a absolute savant geek when it comes to Stargate.
I hated those.
What?
I'm
The
a
space
Catholic.
Catholics. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. All they needed was lasers.
That's quite literally like that's what the Catholic Church basically did to this earth.
And are still doing, Will.
Hey, did you hear or I two things that have been in the news that have caught my ear that make me very happy. One, the United States government is putting $90 million into investigation resources to start dealing with these 7,000 missing Indigenous women in the Northwest. $90
I was going to
million.
mention that.
And
Jen, I
that,
was going to
that they've
mention that.
actually recognized the MMIW as like a key organizer and place of informing us or getting information so that they can get the investigations going and stuff. The other thing is to help get that whole movement going, because the general public is oblivious to everything, but particularly this. None other than Dr. Phil has taken up the call about this and is pushing it on his tabloid show.
Good.
And yeah, I mean, I don't like the dude, but he's got a lot of press. He's got all those Oprah people following him, and so that means the word's going to get out, and it may just start happening.
Yeah, did you hear Dr. Phil is running for office?
Oh, where in
No
Texas?
way, really?
Yep, it's been in the news the last couple of days.
Oh,
No.
don't tell me it's California.
You're thinking of Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is running for Senate in Pennsylvania.
Jen, can I just interact here with you? The Catholics, I've studied the badness of the Catholic Church all my life, ever since I was a Catholic and I was abused by Catholics. Have you ever noticed that even the Canadian Indigenous, the hundreds that were found there, it happened in Ireland, in Africa, it happened all over the world. They're always brushed under the carpet because the Catholic Church has the money to pay people off to keep it quiet of their antics and their barbarism. Now, I grew up in the Catholic Church in the 70s, and it was nasty then. It was violent and it was brutal. And this is what they do for a living. This is their cause. Indoctrinate by brutality. Well, I think they
I don't like them.
Doc, did you ever did you grow up religious?
I certainly did, Will. I was a believer.
No, I was asking Doc. I grew up Catholic as well, but I'm asking Doc. Did you?
I grew up Baptist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I grew up Catholic as well.
I was born into the Catholic Church, but I never understood or believed any of it.
What were you gonna say, Doc?
My uncle is a Baptist missionary in Africa. Always has been my whole life.
Oof. Religion, it's funny that way. Ex-Catholics are not scared to tell you they're ex-Catholics.
I have to go with Doc here that there is some Catholics who believe and they're brought into it, and they do help people, and they do help, and they're there and they give aid, but you got to understand that the Catholics, if you go back to as recent as well, I'm saying as recent as World War II, but most of the holy wars were created by Catholicism, the Romans, and then passing on. But if you go back as recent as World War II, they embrace war. They love it because they, out of the aftermath of war, they can get their paws in there and whatever they want to put in missionaries, whatever they want to put in there, and make people believe. It's a business. It's an income.
All
Well,
churches are
the French
businesses.
government is still after the Vatican to return some works of art that were taken by the Nazis in World War II, which they know are being stored in Vatican City.
Absolutely.
That's all right, mate, because there's a thing called the Bigelow Report. You need to read the Bigelow Report. There's so much Nazi gold from the war and Swiss, France, wandered in their vaults that they'll never return. And it's like African cougar ants that were made of gold.
I'm not trying to be mean, dog, but
Yeah,
if you go to the UK Natural History Museum, that is African history, Italian history. I've been there. There's more African art at the Natural History Museum in London than there is in all of Africa, because it was plundered and
Absolutely.
brought there.
For the reason that Africa is the cradle of life, according to philanthropists and evolutionists. That's where life began, within Africa. If you look at the planet, not the
Well,
flat
that
Earth.
and just, the pyramids being like the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that are still standing.
And they were old when Alexander the Great got there.
Yeah.
Just think about that. They were old.
Where is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon? Or where was it proposed to be?
Yeah, I don't remember offhand.
I'll tell you, it's in Iraq, in Baghdad.
Yeah.
The Middle East, Africa, North Africa was when they moved away from Africa. But if you look at what I was saying, if you look at the planet on a map, on a flat map, I'm not a flat earther, by the way, but if you look at the planet the way it is, you can see it's like a jigsaw puzzle with one massive big hole. And that big hole is the Gulf of Mexico. You can actually see it because the tectonic plates are moving, right? We know that. We know they're moving. Everything it's just moving about. It's just the way it is. But you can see, you can push the world together as a jigsaw puzzle. Obviously, there's some.
Pangea was real, and this planet is quite literally 75% water. And there was a time when we were just one giant landmass, and water world was real.
Exactly. Okay.
Kevin Costner.
But have you realized that the Earth's surface is 75% water, and the oceans are not carbonated, so therefore the Earth is flat.
Yep, it's flat, guys.
I love that one.
It took me a second. It took me a second to catch up. I was trailing behind on that one.
This is the kind of crap Sloth Girl sends me every day.
I was about to say.
This is what I read. This is what I read about evolution of where we come from, and whether it's right or wrong, people have their opinions. But there was the land masses were already forming and moving out. And so whatever was stuck on that land mass, whether it be, we call them continents now, whether it be Australia with all the everything there wants to kill you, or be America with everyone there, every animal, including human beings, want to kill you, especially if you're a Democrat. And it's just the way life is. And we moved out. But how I interpreted it was that a meteor struck the world, killed everything on the land via acid rain, maybe, and everything in the top of the ocean, every animal in the top of the ocean suffered as well.
I'd like to interrupt a minute, please. Perp,
yeah,
I have to get on the move here. To run an errand of sorts. I'm going to leave the camera running, so mute me,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll have on the freeway and hit some really fun turns. Okay.
Love you,
Yeah.
Jen.
Okay. I'll mute you until you park again.
Okay.
And anyway, so that's when the lower part of the oceans crawled out and
Well, when the
became
asteroid,
life what it is now.
yeah,
But
when the
obviously,
asteroid hit, it didn't quite kill everything on the land masses. It basically killed every animal that was over 10 pounds. So
yeah,
you had some smaller things scurrying around, and basically everything built back from that.
perhaps you're getting into my pitch, man. That's what I'm saying. But
Okay.
the thing is, this is evolution. Obviously, I'm wrong because
Yeah.
what we are now is because we evolved on a small boat, a small super yacht, piloted by a tiny family with big beards and whatnot, even the women. And then the waters dispersed, and Mrs. Noah had, well, her vagina must have looked. A doctor today would say, yeah, would inject her with a lethal injection by the amount of kids she would have had to have produced to make humanity today. He would have said, yeah, you can't live with a vagina like that. It's like a small Minecraft cave, a large Minecraft cave. But that's, people have, I respect people's beliefs. But that's how I interpret it anyway, that acid rain killed most of the ocean apart from the lower level where it couldn't reach. And that's where we evolved from. The oceans, obviously. Well, as the technology, well, I'm not a scientist. I'll have to talk to, that's why I listen to people on YouTube and just go with what they say.
Well,
Sort of.
and that's what I pretty much think. If we had an all-out nuclear war, we'd be right back to that same point, that we'd probably burn off everything alive on all the land masses, and then given time, everything will crawl up out of the ocean again and start over.
Well, we're doing that now, aren't we? Really? We've burnt up and used up most of our resources.
Yeah, well, if we do it through climate change, it won't be so thorough. There will still be some things that'll be adapting on the land.
Oh, climate change is coming, mate, and it's coming. I'm guessing over the billions of years that the Earth has been, climate change has happened over and over again. It's just that this time we're intelligent enough to realize it, and all we're doing is trying to slow it down, stop it, but it's going to happen. It will happen. Whether it kills off all humanity, I don't think it will. I think, we are clever enough to save the species, but climate change comes every 60,000 years or so. It does come.
Perp, did you get that? Sorry, did you get that meme I sent you?
For me?
No, I sent Perp a meme. It was trying to lighten up the mood. I'm in a group on Facebook called Cats in Outer Space on Synthesizers. Because I love
groovy, man.
Oh, you should check it out. I love just off the wall, just pointless groups like that. I'm in a group that shows Jeff Goldblum's face every day. I'm in another group that shows Nicolas Cage's face every day because I like to laugh. Like I like living my life. Because Facebook is so depressing. It's not even funny.
I've never been on it.
I recently got back on. I don't know why. I love this meme.
Okay, there you go.
I used to use Facebook for Messenger, and then I realized it was part of Facebook, so I don't use Messenger no more.
But see, like when I go on Facebook, my feed is clogged with stuff like this, where it's like, I love stupid stuff like that because people get political, they get in fights. I know people who are lifelong friends who now hate each other because of Facebook. I know
Well, what
grown
about
adults.
the piano?
I know two grown men that live on the same street that got in a fist fight over Facebook.
Isn't that silly?
It's the dumbest thing ever. So I don't know. I don't come online to make myself angry, you know. So I'm in a million hockey groups. I'm in a million dumb groups because I like to laugh.
Well, I'm with you, mate, because at the point where people you come on, especially Twitter, you come on there and someone says, "Oh, the Earth is flat,"
Oh
and
yeah.
they've started these memes. I mean, if you have it in your mind that you're never going to change their mind, they're just on there to spout their opinion. If you think
Agreed.
everyone on Twitter it's an opinion, and how they think it doesn't reflect on you. It doesn't reflect on anyone you know. The whole world would be a better place, but people get so angry, and they start. But it makes great conversation. It makes great, chatting online. I think that's what humanity's going. Conversation in humanity is going to disappear because even people now are afraid to talk to anybody in case you're infringe on their rights of being a pansexual, gay, flat earther, non-binary, whatever. So people are the communication is becoming lackluster. People are lacking in communication now because, especially the younger, with the LGBTQ and because when I grew up, people could say whatever they want. You had the mouths and you had people talking, but I respect other people's beliefs and what they think themselves as, and I'll accept that. I'll buy them a drink. If they're horrible to me, I'll call them a cunt and say, "Fuck you, you're just an idiot." Don't. But other than that, if I like them and whatever they want to be, you be what you want to be. That's me. It's always been me. But what I'm saying is that's the way the earth is going, and people are not accepting of all these changes, and they are happening quickly, very quick, and people can't keep up with this whole woke thing and everything, cancel culture, and everyone's going into all these things. Slow down, stop uprising yourself to try and make a name for yourself. Just slow down. With the rest of humanity will catch up. I'm sure it will. Well, it will do. Everyone else does. That's my point anyway on the way life is becoming. But it's your show, Pep. You carry on. I don't even know what the show's about. I just ended the link.
Yeah, that's okay. What it's about never matters after the first 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, that's usual. But
I
yeah,
just figured I'd put Jenni back on so we could just see the scenic drive.
Well, it looks like rain.
All right, I'm
That
back.
cloud
It's
looks
been overcast here all day.
I feel guilty because with all the crazy weather and everything we've been having, it's just been paradise here.
Well, no, seriously, I want to know what's going on here, that I'm looking out the window and seeing green grass. Because, okay, even if we don't have snow cover, how has it been warm enough for the grass to still be green? Why isn't it all brown by now, at least?
It was freaky yesterday. It was 82 degrees. I went outside. I took my hat off. I took my glasses off, and I was like, I'm gonna get my summer shade on right now. I can literally still get a tan right now.
For me to be seeing that much green on the lawn means that the soil has not gotten below freezing long enough for the roots to freeze. And that's just not right. This is Minnesota. It is now December.
It is getting a little scary.
It's
It was
80.
-3 here all day today, and I have to say to Will, LA made every headline of the UK newspapers yesterday.
Why is that?
There was the headlines were like, the main one was cumulus nimbus. There was a cloud seen floating over LA. It made big news worldwide, mate, because it was a cloud in LA.
It never rains here.
Of course,
It never rains. And when it does, people drive like idiots and it's on the news.
but I thought that, there was a cloud spotted in LA, and everyone saw it. It was like a fucking UFO to everyone. What's that? Cloud, kids. I hate to see them kids, your kids, when you take them to somewhere cold and they see snow, they'll be like, whoa.
Even right
But
now, it's 82 degrees here, and it's
Hey,
not even
minus-
noon yet.
well, it's -1 at the moment. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey.
taking a sharp turn off of raining. I had this idea the other night that if we wanted to transform Mars so that we could actually have people living there, could we send some robots out to the asteroid field to just bring back some asteroids that are mostly ice and just crash them into Mars to make it rain?
So Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about this all the time, and the answer is yes.
Groovy.
Neil deGrasse, he asks, why haven't we sent robots out to explore? And we have, like, I consider a satellite dish a robot, or Voyager,
Yeah.
like that's a robot, So we have, in a way.
I have another.
Well, yeah, we've sent robot probes to almost every planet in the system at this point.
I have another thought about Mars. One of the biggest problems about Mars is it doesn't have a magnetic field like Earth does, at least not nearly as strong. So there's tons of radiation, and it's because there's not enough iron in the mantle or something, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I wondered, and I realize, even if this were possible, it would be an engineering endeavor unlike anything mankind has ever nearly attempted. It would be a literally celestial task. But I wondered if you could gather up a bunch of asteroids made of mostly iron and crash them into the poles of Mars, and eventually maybe start generating a magnetic field.
I think the best.
Lot more than that.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Well, Mars also has storms that are the size of like North America. Their weather.
Took a great picture of a great panorama of Mars, the red planet, and the only way that, I don't think the magnetic field protects Earth from many things, solar flares and all that shit. I don't think that's the important thing. But you're talking about important, tons of light in there that could survive in Mars, because there is oxygen there. It's about 5% oxygen, where they could actually survive and create oxygen themselves. But you've got but all I see is it needs warming up, and who better to warm up a planet than human beings? We know how to warm up planets with old air.
Well, I thought the main thing it needs is to have some liquid water on the surface.
Oh no, Ox, we're gonna go to another planet to destroy it. We are trash monkeys as a species.
Exactly.
We have evolved to destroy everything around us. Do you know that we are the only species, like, nothing eats us willingly on this planet, we would go somewhere else to destroy it. It wouldn't be in goodwill.
we're not worst enemies, Will, and that's why I used it as a tongue-in-cheek argument. Who's better to warm up a planet than human beings?
That's why I call our species trash monkeys, because what do we produce? Trash. And I call us monkeys because it pisses off Christians. True, it's true. I love that argument when someone's like, "I'm not a monkey." I was okay, you're an ape.
Right.
And apes are monkeys anyway, so everybody's still a monkey.
Exactly.
That's just trashing evolution now. That's not trashing Christian.
That's like when I went to the gibbon farm. There's a gibbon farm by the ranch, and they have an orangutan there. And face to face with a non-zoo orangutan, they're just like us. They're scary, and that thing would rip my arms off if it had the chance. But there's what is it? 2 chromosomes separate us, and monkeys and apes in general. 2 chromosomes. That's
49. 48 chromosomes.
Exactly. And that's
and
it.
I don't mean to be sad about this, but there's a number of types of Down syndrome children that are born. Don't get me wrong, they're cute as a button, and anyone who has a Down syndrome child, love them to death. They've got a very short lifespan. Just love them.
Well, it depends. That's a 50-50 thing, because at my job,
from the 48 chromosome to the 46 we are, it's that 47th chromosome. And when I say that, there's a tiny spectrum there, because sometimes that 47th chromosome gets wound across one of the others, and it makes the lifespan very short. But when you look at their features, they're sort of rhesus monkey-like. I don't mean to be insensitive here, but they are sort of monkey-like and rhesus monkey-like. And
so Down syndrome lifespan is
children. People love them.
So dog, hold on one second. The people that have Down syndrome, they're just like anyone else. It's situational, because in a place like my job, people with Down syndrome live to be in their 70s.
Okay, Jenni, I unmuted you.
The problem with people with disabilities is that they stress out just like anybody else, but they might have a physical stress as well. So if you have Down syndrome and you stress out your whole life, you're gonna die young. But if you live in a facility and you're weighted on hand and foot, you're gonna live an old life and just become a cantankerous old person.
Exactly. But they are, it's not a form of dementia. It's nothing. It just, obviously, a lot of them will have learning disabilities, and just love them. And the lifespan can be a long, it can be short. It can be from 5 years to 105 years.
We're not parrots. I wish I lived to be 105. That'd be cool.
I used to be convinced that I had a pretty good chance of living to be 100, but quite honestly, this COVID thing, I think, is just going to reduce everybody's life expectancy.
I agree.
I don't think
in my
life expectancy,
in my family,
it'll reduce the Democrats. Republicans' life expectancy, because they don't want to do face masks. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. You carry on. There's a...
Well, unfortunately, it's not selective.
Yeah,
and as long as we have that many people who are unvaccinated, it's just a matter of time before there winds up breeding variants that the vaccines aren't going to protect against.
So funny that I live in a Mormon neighborhood, and it's rare that people are vaccinated where I live. It's rare. And they all say it's because of their religion. And because Mormons have such a majority here, you know, so where I live, every other person is not vaccinated.
Well, you've got to understand, mate, that, or everyone, you've got to understand that this virus mutates itself hundreds of thousands of times a day, every day. And the scientists are looking out for variants. And I think there's about 20 odd variants now that can bypass the vaccine, or they become even more infectious or whatever, and it will just keep going.
They're already having questions about whether or not the vaccines that we've had are going to be effective with the Omicron variant.
Every time I hear Omicron, it makes me think of Star Trek. Every time.
There's actually the
Futurama.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
And that's what's pissing me off, is that I've done everything. I got vaccinated back in May. I got the 2 shots. I have still worn a mask ever since, every time I go into a store. And yet these people are probably going to develop something that's going to fucking kill me anyway.
Oh, me too. That's why I'm going to live it up.
I think masks now will just be the normal thing now. Everyone will wear masks. They will wear them in. Did you know
that's the thing? I can't live it up, because with this situation, I can't take the risk of meeting new people. I can't be going to group events.
I get that.
Because I'm around people who are immunocompromised. I can't take the risk of bringing something back into this building.
No, I when I say live it up, I meant as a distance. Like see, it's so different here. Where I live, we stay the hell away from each other. We know that COVID is real here. People, for the most part, 95% of people are wearing masks here. So it's just different here. People mind their own business. We went ice skating, and people we all stayed away from each other.
Okay, are you implying that weed makes you immune?
Oh, hey.
Well, no, because if that were the case, no one in California would have it.
I think weed makes you think you're immune.
All weed does is make you sleepy, happy, and hungry. Those are the side effects right there. It's all, and fat, like what it's doing to me.
But you have to understand that COVID-19 is like Spanish flu, coronavirus, but it is thousands of times worse than Spanish flu.
Again, the Spanish flu killed over 100 million people.
It killed a third of the world, Will.
Exactly. That's what I tried to reiterate that. Like,
yep.
But you have to bear in mind, when I was born, there was just a little over 3 billion people on the planet. Now there's 8 billion people on the planet.
In 19...
Yeah, well, and the thing that these anti-vaxxers and that don't understand about large numbers is that, okay, even if there is a 99% chance you're going to recover from it, you have no way to know if you personally will be the 1% that dies.
Exactly. And I know someone who caught it, who reminds me of Marjorie Green Taylor. She has that look. But my whole point is that she was one of the healthiest people I know. She was from Norway. She was outdoorsy. And now she has lead lungs. Like, she's 49 years old. Hold on 1 second, dog. She's 49 years old, and she flat out admitted that COVID makes her feel like she smoked cigarettes for 20 years and she never smoked. And it's knocked her on her ass, and she hasn't had it for a long time now. And it's cut her life short.
Oh,
Well-
back to that. You mentioned that earlier. Purple, I think if you check the numbers, you'll find that COVID has already dropped the life expectancy by like a year and a half, maybe 2.
Crazy.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised, and no, I haven't looked at the numbers in the last couple of years.
And I laugh at all these Trumpers. I know a lot of Trumpers who have caught it. My neighbor, she's a Trumper, and she caught it twice. You got to be careful.
I remember, I'll always remember before my stroke, I was standing in a pub at the bar with my friends, and a plane was landing with this first group of this pandemic. It was January, even though it had been found a couple of months before they were landing. And I said, that's going to change the planet, that. And he said, why? I said, because that's main news. Normally, that's main news. It's on the TV. They're actually watching that's going to change the world. Yeah, it'll be all right. And what has it done? It's changed the fucking world. And people forever will wear masks. Or people who've got a clue. This is the sad thing with your anti-vaccine. It always breaks my heart. The measles, mumps, and rubella is a killer. Each one of them diseases are killers. And when I see these anti-vaxxers and their kids are dying, the young children are dying of measles, they're dying of mumps, and they're dying of rubella, and we've all got scars on our left arm. We've all got our scars there from our BCG or whatever you guys call it. We've all got a scar there through a reason. I know now that BCG doesn't leave a scar.
So the average person, I don't like. I want to reiterate this because of Andrew Wakefield, and his misinformation about the MMRs and all. It causes autism and all that. All these diseases that we had not cured, that we had stopped, came back within a generation because people stopped vaccinating their kids. Like, I don't think people understand how important that is. It took one generation to break the chain and F it up for everybody else. In LA, it was so bad here. We had like a disease they hadn't seen since the medieval times.
Will, can I just...
we were back to having...
I totally agree with you. And I would like to go back to the beginning of humanity, that these diseases were going on then. People were dying, and people were getting dementia, and all these diseases were going back then. It's only like medical history over the last many decades that we're realizing what they are. But they were going about then. And this is what has caused our disruption of living. It's what caused religion and wars and all that crap, that we can't live together because people are flawed. Some people may have bipolar, or they may have fucking autism. It's only that we're recognizing it now that the things are happening. Don't forget,
but like, if
these things are on a spectrum. Any type of mental thing is always on a spectrum. Hitler was insane. People say he's insane, and he was. But his thoughts are his own. Everybody is unique on this earth. Everybody's unique, and these could be treated as unique. And but uniqueness doesn't govern correctness, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
People can be wrong. Even though they're unique, you can be wrong. And these certain bypasses in their brain will tell. Has anyone here, listening here, ever made a flat earther change his ways?
Yes.
Go on, Jen, tell us.
Not me personally, but I've certainly seen a number of Globers do that with flat earthers. It takes a long time, and they have to hear things from many different angles and people, but there's been a number of them who have converted and realized that,
Yeah, but Jenny, you got to understand that a lot of flat earthers are in it for the popularity. They're not. How can you believe that? Well, I don't even want to go into flat earth.
I recently got into an argument with someone who's a devout young earth creationist, and they kept on saying, well, I'm just skeptical about the age of the earth. I'm skeptical. I said, okay, well, keep going about God. I'm skeptical about God. They convince themselves something, and there's really nothing that you can tell them.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Yeah,
I
but
came with real evidence, and as somebody who grew up as the son of someone who worked at NASA, it is effing insulting that flat earthers even exist. We have pictures, we have proof. It is the modern era.
Believers in things like that have to at some point dismiss the humanity and dismiss human ingenuity. Sorry, and
because the religious mindset is to put all their faith into authority figures.
That's exactly right.
Believe everything the authority says and never question it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Peps, is that that maybe some sort of mental maybe
you kind of broke up
indoctrination?
there. I didn't get what you said.
But at some point they have to dismiss human ingenuity, the likes of fossil records and anything like that. Science itself, flat earthers, space is fake, the moon isn't real, all of that nonsense. They have to gravity. What is gravity? It doesn't exist. They have to. They have to dismiss this out of their minds. And is that going backwards, or is it at a level we're at? Because I think we'd be out somewhere now beyond the solar system.
As a species, we give ourselves too much credit. Some of us are really smart. Some pay attention to that, and the rest are just kind of floating in the muck that we call humanity. I always think about this though, as humans, we deify ourselves. We give ourselves dominion over everything, but we are no different than anything on this planet. And like what Ox said earlier about Mother Nature is true. The second Mother Nature gets tired of us, she will evict us all, and it won't matter. And yes, I just gendered the earth.
No, I get that, but I don't expect it. I don't expect a frog to change our mistakes. We're responsible. We should change it, and we should do something about it. I mean, you've got the only actual anthropologist guy that I know of. I've never met him. Obviously, he's probably still is a multi-billionaire. But
we're actually not even that unique in that, every animal, every creature changes the environment.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is that humans have become such a huge population that we're changing it a lot faster than anything can respond.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to greed now, and it's all to do with greed. A billionaire does not give one shit about us. Does not shit. We have formed little communities.
I have to comment at that.
What's that, Jenni?
It's not the billionaires that don't give a fuck. I mean, a lot of them don't, and I agree with you totally on that. But it is by far the general population that doesn't give a fuck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think about that all the time.
And I mentioned this earlier. People are unique, and it's always looking after number one. Bill Gates is the only true anthropologist out there. He was about to become the world's first trillionaire. And because he didn't want to be a trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire, he gave up virtually all of his fortune to charity. And now he is, again, going to become a trillionaire. He's still worth a billion, but he's got involved in all the COVID. He's become different things. Jeff Bezos was the first world trillionaire, obviously. the Amazon guy.
Yeah, but I wanna speak on
And he's
what
on
Jenny
his
said.
$300 billion yacht and there's mansions all over the planet. And people do that. There's little people like us. We're the people that matter. We're the people that try and make it.
Yeah, but what Jenny said was true because the little person, because we don't help each other, it makes things worse.
Well,
I
no.
work in an industry where, like, my job, even though people are compensated for it, we help people with disabilities. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, before COVID, it was hard pressed to find people before COVID because the average person does not want to help somebody that has MS, doesn't want to help someone that has Down syndrome because it's not the easiest job in the world at all.
Well, even here in the UK, nursing and care work and whatever is gone beyond reproachable that people do not want to get involved in it, and the shortness of people who care is incredible.
So
It is looking.
I'm a little gatekeepy. I'm a little gatekeepy when it comes to this subject because I help people, and when I see people like, oh, let's do this and this, I'm like, don't talk about it, go do it, because I guarantee you where you live, they need your help. You know, to help people that have disabilities. And I'm extra fervent about it because one day my son might be in a facility, you know,
Yeah, but
which he won't, I hopefully, but I'm saying, like, you never know what happens in life.
I'll always agree. I mean, I don't like the film, but it's probably one of the best films I've ever seen, message-wise. Was a film Independence Day. Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, etc., etc. Was Independence Day. We were being attacked. Humanity was being attacked by an outside source, and the whole world come together to be one. Well, I mean, that is a great message to send.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
people will just say, "Oh, it's just a film with aliens," but no, the message in the film is that the Earth united to fight these aliens off.
yeah.
Why can't we do that now? And I get your flat earthers, I get your anti-vaxxers, I get your economists, I get your all of this. I get them all because they're broken off into these groups, and they've had to break off in these groups, and they try and find their allies to stick with them, and they get them because
It's not even that.
together. Well, no,
The difference with the pandemic is because they can't see an immediate threat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it was an alien coming at them and they could shoot it, yes, we could all join together against that.
Exactly. And
but
now
a virus they can't see and won't necessarily kill them today. They don't see that as a threat.
I'm not talking about a pandemic. We've had pandemics before. We had SARS, MARS, going back, smallpox, exactly. But I'm talking about why can't we work as a planet and as a team? There's so much focus now on beyond Earth.
Yeah.
With Elon Musk and the Chinese and throwing satellites and fucking these fucking.
All we know as a species, but as a species, all we know is to exploit each other and to fight each other. And the ideal is peace. But has there ever been like sustainable peace?
There will never
you could point to this era, I guess.
But... like Donald Trump.
Hey, Sarah.
Who is a dictator. You had Hitler, you had people who just want their piece of fucking land and their piece of this.
Could you try to let other people get into the conversation,
okay,
please?
Give Jenny a chance to talk.
So you've said Hitler twice, and Stool needs to jump in already.
Yeah, you just stop dominating the conversation here.
Sorry. I think it's Jenny coming.
Jenny, did you have something you wanted to put in?
If Stool wants to say something, let Stool say something.
No, I'm just I want to say something. I need to send Doc a green screen, and we need to redo that scene in Independence Day with Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith, and you can be Will Smith.
I can do Will Smith.
Yeah, and I'll be Jeff
That's
Goldblum.
racist. That sounds a bit racist to me.
Oh hell no! You ain't shooting that green shit at me.
Exactly. Welcome to Earth is one of the greatest lines of
Oh,
all. I
isn't
love.
it? Isn't it?
Ah,
And just punching the dude.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
so hero.
That's so human, you know. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna
I
punch
mentioned
it.
it, and you gone beyond the meaning of the film straight away. All of you. It is a. I don't even get the film, but I get the message of it. Is that
Yeah, but the human race is so, we hate each other so much that I think if an alien race came down, half of the population would join it and the other half would be fighting against it. We are
Well, the
so
Christian-
polarized as a
well,
species.
we could say straight away the Christians would dismiss it. They're not real because God invented humans in 6,000 years ago.
No, in my Catholic church, growing up in the hall, they had this giant picture of Jesus standing standing in front of a spaceship holding hands with Roswell Grays. And they would always say that no matter what planet that we went to, Jesus would be there because Catholics don't play. And when I've recently called the church, I've recently called the church and asked them if they still have it, and they do. And if they ever put it up for sale, I'm going to be the first person to buy it. It's about 10 feet long, and it's Jesus in front of a spaceship with Roswell Grays. And they had it at a Catholic church forever before I was born, so probably since the 60s or 70s, you know.
I've heard of Catholics, promoting that they're just assuming that when we are contacted by intelligent life that they're going to be bringing their Bibles with them.
Yeah, exactly. Because my mom has become really, really high up in the church. And so I called one of the people that run the church, and they were like, "Oh, you're crazy, but yes, we still have it."
Have you seen that meme going around where you got a gray dressed in kind of a bishop suit, and the caption says, "What if religion was just something that the aliens were feeding to us to see how we would react to really stupid things."
It's true. It's so true. As a species, we do what we're told. People follow certain lines, even when people think they're being a rebel. They're following certain lines and pretending to be someone else.
Oh yeah, Will, you just hit on one of the things that just makes me the most crazy about the right wing, is the generalized hypocrisy that they express. They're screaming and yelling. They're you leftists are a bunch of sheep and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, dude, would you look in the mirror for like 5 seconds?
See, but Jenny, that's why I can't watch that shit, because I'm screaming. I'm like a monkey in a cage. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh!
Like,
I was still moving when you said it. I have to hit you on this. When somebody gets into that thing with human, monkey, ape, all that stuff, and you say you're an ape. No, say, when they say that, just don't say I'm a monkey. Say I'm an ape. You're a monkey.
I'm stealing that, writing it down. It happens all the time because I live near a lot of religious people, and so it happens more than you think. Well, they'll be like, I'm cool with you being an atheist, but recently someone out of the blue was like, "Oh, I don't care if you're an atheist. I'm not a monkey."
Okay, people.
When I think back to people, I always, and especially like on Twitter, and I see the idiotic things they say. I always go back to the Monty Python and the Meaning of Life and that Eric Idle song. Just remember we're revolving out of that. But the last words of that is, let's hope there is intelligent life out there out of space, because there's bugger all down here on it.
Yep. Okay, folks, I'm gonna need to wrap this up just because I don't have much in me today to keep going.
Awesome.
So,
Well, like 2.5 hours, you did good.
Well, mate.
Yeah, you did great.
so, anybody have anything they want to shill out before we go?
Yeah, if you got some extra cash laying around and you don't know what to do with it, go on the web and look up the Seven Rivers LGBTQ Center in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and throw them some money.
There you go.
Okay, that's a good plug. Yeah, for next time, Jenny, let's have a website for them that I can throw the link in the side chat. If you can look that up and send me a link on Twitter.
I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, we'll do that for the next show.
Well, all right, I will. Fine.
Okay. For next week on the 9th, we're trying to organize a 24-hour marathon, basically to assemble a support network for Diana Lavender Lady. Because before she can even get on the list for a transplant, she needs to show them that she will have people there who are, going to show up and take care of her during her recovery.
Mm-hmm. They're like that with knee surgery,
so
too.
We were trying to do a 24-hour event. We still need some more people, to help run that. Some people who are willing to stream on the 9th.
Awesome.
I'm not streaming yet, but I'm
And
more than
also, what?
I say I'm not streaming yet, but I'm more than, after Christmas I'll be streaming. But at the moment, I'm more than happy to be involved.
Okay. Yep. Well, I'm sure everybody will need people just to talk on the panels too. And likewise, I'm still trying to set up the Christmas Day marathon, and I need a bunch more people to help with that, because we're trying to run 48 hours, and so far we probably only have enough people to fill about 15 hours.
I'll help.
So, yeah, anyone who wants to participate in either of those, drop me a DM on Twitter. Okay, all so let's let Will do his thing.
I am Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. I have a video out right now about a Singer LCD sewing machine. It has a crappy LCD screen. Watch me struggle with it, and I finally finished a project. Go check it out on the Godless Sewing channel. And as always, don't forget to tip your waitress and be nice to somebody. Life is too short to hate people and to hold grudges. Move on with your life. And if you're stalking, trolling, or generally just watching my channel, I thank you. And as always, we thank you.
Thank you, Will.
And there was something else I was going to say, but I completely forgot, but it's going to take me on another tangent, so I will chata.
Okay, well, and on the subject of thanking people, I need to thank the people who are continuing to support me on Patreon. Just the Utah Outcast and Von Rick, Robert X, who we had in here earlier, Junie, and Ox, who I think is still with us, and the Lavender Lady, and Greg Hartwick, who was here earlier.
Hi, Junie.
I do appreciate your help. And I've taken the money from Patreon, and I just went and paid for another year's subscription for the StreamYards.
Awesome.
So that we can keep doing these chats for at least another year.
Groovy.
Awesome.
So with that, then, I will bid you all a good day, and we will see you all back here tomorrow night at 10. Bye-bye.
TTFN.
Bye.